We make no claims to tell everybody's story. We are not that project. We are a project that provides a theater space for Muslim women's stories.
When I open newspapers, I see all these stereotypes and I can't relate to it. They're not talking about me.
For me, it's important that we hear the missing voices, and especially from women, especially from Muslim women.
You see beyond the stereotype to the particular and the individual, and you realise that although everyone is different, actually underneath it we're all human and we all have the same values and emotions.
Really what we want to do is challenge the perception that Muslim women are only about the hijab. I think very often in public discourse, Muslim women are reduced to a conversation about the hijab, and yet they're rarely present in that conversation.
Are the Hijabi Monologues. Hijabi, a word that is not age-old classical Arabic, but has become part of Muslim American lingo, referring to the Muslim woman who wears a headscarf. We were in a car together with a whole bunch of hijabi girls, and Dan was like, oh my God, we're gonna get arrested. And then one of the girls like, I have a story about that. And then Dan's like, oh my God, we need a Hijabi Monologues. Dan liked to ask us as his Muslim friends about the hows and whys of Muslimness in America. And so we used to tell him stories. He said, you don't understand how the stories have changed my life, and that I am a completely different person because of it. Because Dan used to work for corporate America, you know, and he's like, I can come there and say a story because now I know these stories. And he's like, and I usually tell the football story because he's like, they're not really that crazy. Let me tell you this.
Zainab was a Shia Iraqi-American Republican football fanatic who never missed a game every year during her entire undergrad career.
I was in Jordan. I was like, I'm in, but I don't know what this is going to look like. And I thought about it, and I started writing stories. Storytelling happens with friends. And basically, we thought that maybe we can create that space that we had with each other and offer it to other people. And I realized that the only way to get stories from people is if you tell them your story, and then they'll respond. Do you know what it's like to represent a billion human beings? Every day you walk out of your house, to be looked at as the representative of an entire world religion.
I really like the story I'm Tired because I could relate to it, because me feeling to have to represent all Muslims, it's a feeling I have all the time, both from my own Muslim community, but also from the Danish society, because at this one hand I should be a Danish young lady, and at the other hand I should also be a Muslim.
I'm tired of not going to class because I didn't do the reading, and if I don't say something incredibly brilliant, my silence will be attributed to being inherently oppressed by my men, religion, clothing, rather than the fact that I was on Facebook the previous night like 90% of the class.
I'm Dutch, and Hijabi from Holland are Dutch Muslims. So I think that there is a fear of people thinking that Muslims will take over, and then you start with trying to attack people on the way they look.
I'm tired of putting on my understanding, patient face every time some idiot asks, so, what do you speak over there? And why do your people hate us? And is Islam and the West at war? Instead of saying, hello? Do you not see me? Do you not see me standing right here in front of you? And I am not wielding a sword?
She's American, and she feels as an American citizen. And, this is me. I faced many questions, of this kind. In a restaurant, in an airport, everywhere.
There are certain personalities that are storytellers, right? And we don't just want those personalities. We wanted stories from people who are regular, everyday people. When Amir first touched me, I felt wanted. I felt this body that God gave me was beautiful.
And what I really liked about the Hijabi Monologues, that everyone could relate to it, like every woman can relate to it, either you're Muslim or not. And that's what I like about such project, that it's universal stories and it's the woman who's in focus, not necessarily a Muslim woman.
I just really love the fact that they go through so many different storylines, and we go from funny to sad to hilarious.
I think what speaks to me about them all is just the honesty in the stories. They're all very honest, and they're all very relatable in that honesty. I cuss a lot, a whole lot. Not like a sailor, but definitely more than my grandma would approve. Yes, I understand there are other words. I just happen to like cuss words. Don't judge me.
I feel like some people of the Muslim community, especially the ones wearing the hijab, are also discriminating me because they make me feel like I'm not Muslim enough for them. I feel like the hijab is not what makes my religious beliefs or my faith, because I divide between faith and religion, and I just find it very interesting that people just judge me by what they see, and my faith is inside of my heart and not on top of my head.
I'm not going to change people's minds overnight, but if I change one person's mind before I close my eyes on my deathbed, I'll go, alhamdulillah, I've changed one person's mind, and they can look at the view of a Muslim woman or a Muslim family, a whole or a Muslim man, in a different concept, instead of looking them on based what media perceives a Muslim man and woman to be.
I think most people, at least in Western Europe and the United States, they have some kind of concept of what a Muslim is. And oftentimes that's not a positive image. It's often informed by a particular story, right? And so I think that audience, it would be great for them to come.
Right now, the debate in the media and the public debates have become so aggressive. And I see people attacking a group and people defending themselves. That's not a dialogue. That's strategy, you know? It's almost a war, but an information war. And I don't think Muslims should be put in that place that they just keep defending themselves.
I think when people understand each other more and learn to accept each other without necessarily having to label each other, there we would be more comfortable being who we would like to be.
It's not always that someone wants to change you or redeem you or save you, because sometimes you meet a human being who also is searching for meaning and just looking for someone who just might understand.
Many people who have opinions on the hijab have never actually asked a hijabi woman herself. And somebody in Dublin, a man, said to me that he's actually hesitant to go and approach a woman in hijab and ask her opinion or ask her why she's wearing it. And I did say that I think he should have a try, if that's the only way that's open to him. Because it's only by talking to each other that at least you'll hear what she has to say.
Someone laid a note next to me. And I looked at the note, and then I quickly turned around to see a young, overweight woman walking away, wiping tears from her eyes. So I picked up the note, opened it, and read what was inside. In these times, when women are confronted with intense pressures to conform and achieve impossible standards of beauty, you have made a choice to be different. Thank you for being an inspiration. You make me realize there's hope. Although she didn't know it, her note came at a time when I was wrestling with my own struggles, and she gave me hope.
The essential is always emotions, and that's what we have to understand. And if somebody is really saying, okay, I don't want you here, or I feel uncomfortable right next to you, then there is something underneath lying where they don't even know that what it is. And I think we have to respond and not react to it, because responding would mean that you go controlled and face it and open up your arms and say, let's talk about these things. But if you're just reacting, it's so uncontrolled, and you just give it back, and then it's not healthy for the dialogue.
It touched me, and I was like, this is what we need. We need Hijabi monologues in Europe and in all these countries that have no idea how to deal with these Muslims.
We have fantastic women, is the only way to describe them, from all over Europe who now want to take this project forward in their own locations, and that's thanks to the British Council. So really, overall, I mean, it's just been a fantastic experience, and we hope to be able to progress it.
I think it's a fascinating tool because it just welcomes in so many voices and so many dialogues. So if we're given the tools and the skills to develop it properly in a way that is supportive of and respectful towards the participants, but also targets audiences in the right way, and I mean from all walks of life, from all corners of society. I think that we should be striving to stage this and to stage really, really excellent productions of it, no matter how small or large the context.
We need more than just politicians doing their best and community leaders. I think also as a community, Muslims applying self-criticism and going into the public space using a more artistic language, as they have done successfully in the US, that we can bring something that is beneficial for both communities.
For me, the international dimension is really important, because just so we can work together, like from Europe and the States, that's really important to me. But the local stories are much more important also.
This whole process also has made me rethink my own thoughts about myself, about Muslims, about how I define Muslims myself. So just doing these monologues, meeting other women, has really made me take a self-assessment.
What the girls are doing, the USA girls, fantastic. I'd love to see something like that happening here in Ireland.
I love my country, and I love the Dutch football team. I'm patriotic in a way too, but give me the space to share that.
We've only seen them done in English so far, but I hope if this works, we'll be seeing them in French, in Dutch, in Danish, in German. It'll be brilliant.